I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
What do hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you? Aren't they, like, very deadly? They're huge, aren't they?
You can't have a hippo in a circus.
Are you sure?
You're not thinking of Zippo?
He's neither clown.
Yeah. No, and it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget, and it's some sort of horrible sexual act.
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah, okay, right, okay, good. Well, let's play a record then. I'd like to play a classic Springsteen. We're all fans of Springsteen there. This might be his debut album, I'm not sure. Greetings from Raspberry Park.
I think it is, yeah.
New Jersey. And this is Growing Up. It's great, it's classic. Springsteen and Growing Up off of Raspberry Park album. Great. They make you feel good, Springsteen, doesn't he?
He's a joy. He's an absolute joy. Rockbusters.
That's what they're all reading and writing about.
Absolutely. Before you get the clues, let me just remind you of the prizes you're playing for. We've got the Manic Street Preachers' Greatest Hits on DVD. We've got the film Human Traffic on DVD. We've got the Best Air Guitar Album 2 on CD. Groove Armada's, is this their current album?
Yeah.
I guess it's not selling very well. They're still trying to promote that. You can have that as well. If you are a fan of the Ford Fiesta TV ad, of the Vodafone TV adverts, you will love the...
You didn't think you liked indie? Well, you do.
Exactly, and that's got Feeder and Travis and Badly Drawn Boy and all sorts on there. Plus, my own copy, $6.99 it cost me, The Pelican Brief, starring Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington. If you've not seen that, panned and scanned on VHS. So what are the clues?
Do you know what a pelican, I read the other day, that has to turn its head upside down to eat?
Give us the clues.
So, Rockbusters...
Well, let me just explain. A bird has a gullet, an esophagus and a gullet is all in one thing. It hasn't got peristalsis, which is the movement that we have that can make food. So a bird can only rely on gravity.
Yeah.
So it has to have its head up and has to shake. It can't eat.
You were going to say that, weren't you, Carl?
Yeah. So, Rockbusters, you mentioned it earlier, one of last week's was, it's a cryptic clue and then some initials. I was in Texas, I fell in a puddle on my knees
Mm.
got wet, WH, wet knee, Houston.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing we...
Use of the word knee twice there in the cryptic clue and in the final
And the word
answer.
wet, I think you're
Yeah, which is wit. So fine, good.
So, there's three of them. It's email only, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Sure.
Load of stuff to win. Here we go. Right, the first one.
I'm writing these down. Go on.
Make a note of them.
The fella has only got one badge left.
The fella has only got one badge left.
Yeah.
What are the initials?
That's just E.
Just E? Oh, just E.
Just E. The fella has only got one badge left.
This is either a solo artist or a band.
Yeah. Second one. The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Say that again?
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Yeah.
What's the initial?
MD.
MD.
MD. And finally, I really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M. Now,
Give us that one again.
I really love that woman. I love everything she does.
And that's...
M.
Right, now I've got that one.
Right.
That's great. It's great. That's lovely.
So,
That's great.
I think the second and third one's quite easy. First one is a killer.
Is it tricky?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. So, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, and what, we pick a winner out at about 1:45 or something like that?
2, yeah, absolutely.
No, 2:45, what am I talking about?
3.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's dynamite stuff. Well done, Carl.
Excellent.
More educating Ricky next.
Yeah.
Beck, Lost Cause on XFM 104.9. Wow. Carl, we haven't had a lot of emails. They're tough.
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I've got one, and I'm struggling with two, but I know one of the words, but I can't think of the band that fits it unless the clue's wrong, and I've got no idea with the first one, E.
Give us them again.
Just
Just
give 'em
quickly recap. Number one, the fella has only got one badge left. That's E. Second one, the unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with. That's MD. And the last one, I really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Well, Ricky, what is it, Ricky?
Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
So keep those coming in. If there's no winner, we don't know whether to give it to the person who gets the most right first, or have a massive rollover. And what a Christmas booty that would be, as Carl said.
Mm.
All those... Imagine what you could have... indecent proposal, maybe.
Who knows?
You know what I mean?
I've got some real junk, so I can bring that in.
Yeah. The Mean Machine.
Imagine
with
someone
Vinnie
this
Jones.
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. This Christmas, I can't believe it. Oh, thank you so much for the Pelican brief. I noticed you'd left the price on.
And it's on VHS as well.
Oh, great.
Brilliant.
This is a perfect Christmas gift, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Okay, now,
Some
so
quite
that's going.
mediocre CDs.
That's
The
going.
perfect
That's
Christmas
going
gift.
on. That's a big prize. It's a big weekend prize on XFM. Educating Ricky, part 2. Right. What's the clues
Right,
left?
well, we've got left the headlines. I'll be new buying one of them,
Yeah.
and we've also got chicken. You believe it? Chicken. You believe it? So they're the two now left. Which one should I
Right.
go for?
Chicken, you believe it? Is not that picture, is it? In it that we saw.
Which picture?
The bloke with the.
No.
Right.
No.
Okay.
God, that was bad.
Right. Okay.
Right, so
I just better explain
We
that.
can't really discuss this on air, can we?
Well, we can. Steve brought in Carl, the best book ever, which is what is it?
I found it when I was moving house. It's an FHM publication, and it's kind of like lots of grotesque pictures and stories, and like the book of a book of freaks and weirdos and.
And
grotesques.
Carl opened it, and the first one was like
at the back.
at the back.
Well, you couldn't believe your luck, could you?
What was
when
it?
as soon as you
What was number 50?
A bloke with two heads.
And he said, "What's number 1?"
Yeah.
And then number 6, there's a bloke who's a squid or something.
Octopus.
Yeah. yeah. He's loving it. At number 1, he said, well, it's just a fella under a rock. And I went, oh no, read on, I think I know about this. And it's the fella that was found, he caused a landslide while having sex with a chicken. And they pulled him up, and there he is, the chicken owner.
Right,
So Carl
so-
could not believe his luck. So it's not that.
Chicken. You believe it?
I'll have that one
You're
then.
going for that one?
Yeah.
Right, well, we've talked a lot on the show about,
We talked a lot on the show.
Yeah.
about animals without heads.
we haven't! We haven't! We talked about cockroaches could live without a head for 7 days.
Yeah, we talked about that, and then of course there was the well-known one about the fellow who had his head cut off, and he
blinked and
he
it
said
was
to his
him.
mate, count how many times I blink when the head comes off.
Yeah,
Was that
as you, when you told it to me, you said his head came off, and he said, as he said it in the basket, he said, quick, count how many times I've blinked. And it was Nick Frost that had to go, no, Carl, no, he said it before. I went, and that was lovely. So, yeah, we've talked quite a lot about things, heads coming off. Go on then.
Well, this one,
Yeah.
right? Back in 1945,
You looked up the date.
Got a specific date.
Uh,
Wow.
mate Jonathan sent this one. You know him as well, the lad at the BBC, right? He emailed this one in, so thanks for that. Chicken. It's called Mike.
There's a chicken called. Sorry, I missed a bit there. There's
Yeah,
a chicken called. Mike.
chicken called Mike.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened was, it was living on a farm, right? Loads of chickens knocking about, and the owner of the farm is like, getting ready for tea, and his wife says, "Go out and get a fresh chicken because my mum's coming round." So he thinks, well, I want to get a good one in because I want to impress her. 'Cause back then, even then, they wanted to impress the mother-in-law and that. So they said, "All right, I'll just nip out and get one." So he sees Mike, chicken running around.
Is this during the war or after the war?
1945. I'd say that was after.
No, it ended,
It ended in 1945.
Yeah,
Okay.
September, go on.
So chicken's running about. He thinks that one, that looks all right. I'll have that one.
Mikey.
So he picks it up, and he cuts its head off.
Oh.
Puts it on the block, cuts its head off, runs about a bit, like they do. He thinks it'll stop in a minute. Keeps running about. And what's going on here? Right? He's now like chasing the chicken without an head.
Yeah.
He's saying he should die in a minute. Anyway, doesn't die. Chicken's walking around with no head. Lives for 18 months.
Yeah.
Chicken with no head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard this story before, Rick, and the explanation, as I understand it, was that certain vital cords, spinal cords, weren't severed when the head came off, so that was why it continued to live.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds plausible.
It's fine, absolutely fine. How did it take on protein and energy?
The fella who owned it, he said, well, hang on a minute. He said, I could kill it now.
But I've got a wonder chicken here.
But he's thinking, it must really want to live.
Sure.
Right? If it survived that, they sort of got something here.
Yeah.
So what he does, he gets a little eye droplet thing that he used to use on it. Obviously not anymore, right? And he filled it with grain and water, and it had a big hole in its neck where its head used to be. And he
Incredibly.
and he dropped.
You know what? There's. I mean, that is possible then. If it, without
have heard this,
infection,
Rick, to be fair.
without infection, if he was taking on things, it is possible, right? Why?
Why what?
Why did he do it? How cruel is that? I mean, that was not cruel because the chicken obviously,
He said if he thought it was a bit fed up, he would have killed it. He said, but he was running around quite happy.
Well, it wasn't fed up at all because it had no brain.
Well,
What do you mean? Wow.
I'm just saying what.
It was nothing. It was just sinew and nerves and electrical impulses breaking down energies. Right. That's all it was. It didn't have a brain. So it was. But I'm worried about the psychology of keeping a pet without a head. I'm worried more about what the farmer was thinking than the
I
chicken.
tell you this. What the question I'm asking is, was the mother-in-law impressed? I mean, that's why he set out. That's why he set out to shot Mike's head off.
This is lovely, but it's just the head where you don't kill a chicken like that all at once.
I thought we were having chicken for dinner. Come and look at this, running around the yard.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So, there you go. You've learned something there.
Yeah, I have learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one more.
That farmer, I've learnt that farmer was very strange indeed.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have to say, to be fair to Carl, I have a feeling like when I read it, the reason he kept it alive was as a novelty. He sold, he got charged people to come and see the incredible headless chicken called Mike.
Right.
So there we are.
There you go.
That's great.
So, tune, Steve.
A tune, yeah. I just thought I'd like to hear a little bit more from that NERD album. We played some of this from there when it first came out many moons ago. Since then, it's gone on. It's won awards, all sorts. And obviously, NERD now, Nerd, as they're sometimes known, kind of big producers. They're producing Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all kinds of people. But this is a track from their album.
I've heard
and
they're
it's called-
wicked.
They are indeed. And this is called Things Are Getting Better. Correct. NERD. From their album In Search Of, and that's Things Are Getting Better. After the break, we got more Educating Ricky and the results to this week's Rockbusters.
And Richard Ashcroft.
Oh, dynamite.
Richard Ashcroft. Check the Meaning on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant. Carl just remembered a little story he was excited to tell you.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh, are you going to tell him?
Oh, okay. When we went into this cafe last week after Carl had got his soil, we got 2 big bags of soil. I was going, get a bag for me. And he was like, no, I can walk home. After about 10 yards, he was going, oh, my arms hurt. So he had to get a cab. So we stopped in this cafe, he had spaghetti bolognese. You were loving it, weren't you?
It was good. It was a good little day out.
And there was a woman that worked there, and she sort of, I could see her sort of looking at me, and she and then she came and said, are you off the telly? And I went, yeah. She went, yeah, Chris Moyles.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
And I just laughed, and we both started laughing. She went, no, sorry, I said, no, I'm not, Chris, what's your name? And I went, and I had to say it, I went, Ricky Gervais. She went, oh, no. She went, oh, the thing in the office. I went, yeah.
No, the
Yeah,
funny
so-
thing was, she went and said,
Oh, no, I saw you on
Jonathan Ross.
Jonathan Ross, that's it, yeah.
So she'd obviously watched the Jonathan Ross show thinking, Chris Miles has, lost his looks a bit or whatever. That's what I found funny, the fact that she must have
That's it,
watched
yeah.
it thinking
Yeah.
that...
Yeah, she went, no, I saw you, like, I saw you the other day, and I was like, yeah, she went, oh, and then we were still sort of laughing, I was thinking, she went, oh, sorry to be back, I was going, no, it's fine, I was thinking, yeah, imagine that, just like,
God.
great, there's not a better one to pick.
That's just appalling.
Oh, that was lovely. It's the second time as well.
That you've been mistaken for Chris Moore?
Yeah.
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 Oh, man, you've
Yeah,
got to feel bad about that.
I've had Moyles, I've had, Vegas a few
Johnny
times.
Vegas, yeah, I can imagine.
So, yeah.
Do you think, like, people are going up to Miles going, you do that thing about working in an office?
Yeah, well, I don't know whether I hope that or not.
I don't know, it depends what he answers.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I thought you were going to say that, are you Chris Moores? No, what's your name, Ricky Gervais? Never heard of you. That'd be brilliant.
So, yeah, okay, right. Educated Ricky, number 3.
Ricky, yeah.
Well, we've got the emails in.
Yeah, people
Let's
are
start-
they're finally trickling in. I think people are
Okay.
getting them.
People have got the full 3 right, but I mean, it's still worth emailing in because we never know who we're going to pick as a winner.
I'll tell you what, we've still got 50 minutes before we give the prize out, so let's give them again. Just give us a quick rundown, because I think these are tantalising. They really are.
Yeah. So the first one, the fella has only got 1 badge left.
Yeah.
That's E. The second one, the unmarried lady is a friend to eat out with. MD.
Yeah.
And the third one, I really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Excellent.
Ricky.gervais at xfm.co.uk. You can win all kinds of prizes.
Educating Ricky,
Right,
number 3.
final one. You've had hippopotamus. You had chicken. You believe it? And the last one is I'll be no buying one of them.
I'll have that one.
All right. Interesting one. This. I mean, I spent probably 3 days looking for this stuff. Right. And another one that I came across. Right. And I was going to use. I was a bit like,
great life you've got.
I was just, going on the internet and that, and I also look in magazines, found a story about a bloke who, I don't know, he was messing about with a chainsaw and he
I don't know, that's not the chainsaw. He was juggling a midget, and, whilst taking his alligator for a walk, and, go on.
and his arm, come off, right?
Come off! What do you mean his arm come off?
The chainsaw took it off.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's like, oh.
Again,
Anyway,
He's going, oh no!
so there's a picture of him on an exercise bike, sort of just with a little stump sort of balancing, but he's getting on with his life, he's happy and everything's fine, he's not complaining, it's his own fault, he's got no one to blame, right? So anyway, he goes to the doctors, and the doctor says, I can do something there. So he goes, well, it's alright, I'm getting by alright, don't worry about it. And he goes, no, we've got an arm in, right? We can attach that, a real arm, from someone who's, I think they'd passed away or lost an arm or something, and
They lost an arm and didn't want it back.
yeah, he went, I'll have it. Are you using that? No, because I know someone.
Because I know a bloke, actually.
Yeah. Well, can't you just put this one back on? Wow, it's first come, first serve, really.
I was just building a bionic man. We've replaced one arm with a robot's arm, so we got a spare one.
so the doctor's going, let me put it on. He's like, well, alright then. So they do,
Ungrateful bastard.
so he does the operation, right? Everything's fine, he's loving it, he's happy again because he said he can brush his teeth.
Right, okay, if this is going to be
He's
something
loving
like...
it again because now he can brush his teeth.
Right, if this is going to be, and it was a leg, or
No.
it was a chimp's arm, or
it was the arm of a killer.
It was 2 left arms, right? I'm going to kill you.
Oh, let's leave it then.
What is it? What's the answer?
No, it's not that, I'm just
What
messing.
is... Okay, right.
So he says, go on and do it. So he sews it on, and like I said, he's happy, he's brushing his teeth, he can have a pint in the pub, he's lifting a pint with it, all his mates are happy for him. It goes on for about 2 years, everything's fine. Then it all starts going flaky.
Oh, I knew it would.
Was it made of chocolate?
Alright, so it all goes all like gammy, and then for some
The arm
reason
starts going gammy.
it goes gammy, and it gets longer.
Of course it does.
So there's a picture of him, right, stood in the magazine. He's stood there with his arms by his side. One arm's normal, the other one is like past his knees. He can pull his socks up without bending over.
So
It's
is this going to
really-
be they gave him the arm of an 8-year-old child who would have been the tallest man in the world?
No, he just said, oh, what am I going to do? And the doctor said, oh, there's not much we can do. And left it.
Wait a minute, you can't
That's
leave
not
it
a
there.
story.
So, Carl,
That's
what?
not
You've
a
got to
story.
tell us the explanation.
What?
Was it an incredible plastic arm? An incredible expanding arm? Did he fight crime later?
No,
Well, that's the end of the story. You've got no scientific explanation as to why...
That's why I didn't pick it.
But you just told it to us anyway!
Yeah, but I'm just saying the sort of knowledge I come over when I'm looking for the good knowledge. Yeah?
So that
Why did
hasn't
his
even
arm
made the
grow?
list.
Why did this arm grow? He must have had an adult arm. They couldn't have given him an arm.
I don't know. It's just one of them.
It's rubbish again,
It's
isn't
not...
it?
Well, I thought it's an interesting story, but you should
It's
have read...
not, and it's rubbish.
You
It
should have
didn't
read to
happen.
the end. There was photos.
Yeah.
But you should have read to the end of the article, Carl.
No, I did. And he said, he's not happy and he wishes he wouldn't have had it done and all that. And,
Are you sure this wasn't entirely unexpected?
No, seriously, he was saying, his teeth are nice and clean again because he could brush them and that. But his arm's getting in the way. Ruining his shirts and everything. So I'll leave that.
Let's play a tune. Let's come back with the next one, because I love the fact that this is like Ronnie Corbett telling one of his jokes. That's ironic. That wasn't even the story. He was going to tell us.
play a record. Oh, God. That's alright, isn't it? Travis, love will come through. Quite like that on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington in the chair. We've had the answers in. It's Rockbusters. It's the results. Carl, give us the winning answers.
Right, Steve, you search for a winner.
I will.
That'd be
At
nice, we
random.
can slip into that. So the first one was, the fella's only got one badge left.
I have no idea.
The initial was E.
Go on.
Will I get out the answer now?
Yeah,
Steve?
give the answer, yeah.
I think you should.
That was his last sticker. Yeah?
Elastica, the band Elastica. I'm not
doesn't
sure.
work,
No,
doesn't work.
The word sticker and and a badge are not interchangeable.
And it's not his last sticker, it's Elastica.
Yeah, but, like, his last sticker. So, someone's got it.
Oh! So say a different word and it works. Oh, so if the band is Elastica, then it works. God, if only Justin would have named it different. If she'd have just gone, let's call it Islastica, then we'd have, yeah.
Second one.
What was the clue?
The unmarried lady is a friend he ate out with.
Go on.
That's Miss Dynamite.
Miss Dynamite.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's been running for 4 weeks. We've done the obvious
Doesn't
ones.
work. Doesn't work.
Miss Dynamite.
Again, if she'd have called herself Miss Dynamite, it would work. She didn't. See, what's happening is pop stars are letting you down by naming themselves incorrectly for your clues. Those don't work. They don't count.
And the last one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That was M.
Yeah.
That was Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. I'm going to give you that. That worked, yeah. Right, that's the end of that feature, until you can get ones that work. Okay, so you won't hear any more of that, because it's rubbish. You've read it out already. Sorry, do you just think of the first three things that come in your mind and make them fit? Just think of 3 bands and make a clue, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't matter.
I just went through again.
Rubbish. It was rubbish.
Whatever.
Right, play a record.
Hang on, we've got a winner.
We have. Actually, you say all this, Rick, but lots of people got them right. Which
Yeah. So
I don't know what that proves, really. I don't know if that says, you know, you're the tosser or
Or they're as stupid as Carl?
one or the other.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it to Simon and Daisy and Hitchin. They got the right answers, and well done to them. They get the Pelican Brief and some other treats.
Serves you right.
I look forward to
Serves
that.
you right for understanding Carl. Suede's new one. Obsessions. On XFM 104.9. Well, I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington. Well, Carl, that's about it, and we got sidetracked on the last Educating Ricky. You telling me about a man whose arm grew.
well, something went wrong. I'm not saying it grew. Just saying
What? The rest of him shrunk?
it went long.
It went long. What, is that growing? What do you mean it went long? Did it grow, or what? Did it come loose?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, so it was hanging by a thread that's made it look long.
Yeah.
Within the skin.
It's like how you can stretch a pair of tights if something is too heavy.
Arms are very much like tights. They are very much
So the
like
one,
tights.
the one that we didn't get round to on Educating
Yeah.
Ricky was I'll be no buying one of them.
Go on.
Are you familiar with the saying white elephant?
Something is a white elephant. Yeah, I think so.
Hold on. You phoned me last night and said, what does white elephant mean? And I told you.
Yeah, I know, but I know where it came from, but I just was wondering what it was about.
So how, in what way is Educating Ricky you calling me up and asking me something?
Well, do you know how it came about?
You've given away some of the secrets of the show there, it would appear. I didn't realise he was phoning you for information.
Well, he just asked me what the term white elephant meant in sort of like colloquial.
Did he say, why are you interested, Carl? No reason.
No, go on.
Well, what it is, ages ago when...
So what do we understand white elephant to mean?
Well, some of that's useless. That's like a bit of a, something that you wouldn't want around. That's just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Carl.
So years ago, when people used to use elephants...
Years ago, go on.
When people used to use elephants?
Yeah, more than they do now.
Right.
More than they do now.
This doesn't involve a midget, does it?
So you know, they'd use them in the workplace and stuff. To sort of-
Yeah, as factories.
sort of,
Yeah.
To move stuff around
Teenagers.
and that.
Yeah, security guards.
Yeah. Can't trust them with the buns, though. That's why they stopped using them.
Oh God, go on.
So there was loads of elephants knocking about, and the thing is,
You
right,
couldn't move from.
if you have a lot of something,
Uh-huh.
you also have a lot of demic ones, don't you?
A lot of what?
You know, sort of demicky ones that aren't right, really.
Demic.
Demicky.
Well, you know, like they weren't properly. They weren't.
They weren't properly.
They weren't
Sorry,
demicky or
Carl, what are you doing?
Right, I'm getting to the story. So what I'm telling you is...
They were a bit demicky, so they weren't
Basically,
properly.
Have you started making words up?
Right.
Yeah, you Stanley Unwin,
Listen.
reincarnated.
Demicky?
Yeah.
There was a lot of albino elephants knocking about.
Where? Where is this?
Olden times.
Africa.
Yes! Should we say Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an answer's got a question mark at the end, I'm not
Well,
sure
it's
an
either
answer.
Africa or India, but I'll give you a clue. Will these elephants, do they have big ears or little ears?
I didn't sort of notice the size of the elephants. What I noticed is they were white because they were albino elephants.
Okay.
Right? So that's why they're heading. I would be ruled by one of them.
Okay.
So what would happen is people who didn't know what they were doing, like, you know, you get people making a mistake buying cars that are full of problems and that. Back then when people were buying elephants, they'd go up to someone, say, I'm after an elephant, and the fella would say, yeah, I've got one here for you, this is a nice one. And it was all white and stuff, and it had, like, blue eyes.
You should never trust a used elephant salesman.
This elephant that's white with blue eyes.
Right,
This is great.
So,
Yeah.
so a fellow who didn't know what he was doing would buy the elephant, and he'd get it back, and it'd be all sort of lazy and stuff,
Oh,
and
the
what we're
worst
doing and
place, yeah.
stuff. And he'd say, what's up with this? And his mate, who's a bit of an expert with elephants, and go, oh, where have you bought that from? And he'd say, oh, I got it off that fella. And he goes, oh...
All this embellishing nonsense he does with the
you
story.
shouldn't have bought that. So he goes, why? And he says, it's only albino, innit? And he's like, what does that mean? And he said, oh, it gets tired. It's not that good at doing work and that. You shouldn't
It
have bought
steals
it.
from you.
But elephants back then were like a god. You know what I mean?
Right.
You couldn't say, oh, I'm sick of this, then I'm going to abandon it or anything, because elephants were seen as like pretty high up on the chain of things. So they'd end up being stuck with an elephant that's an albino.
Yeah.
Couldn't do much, gets tired, basically gets in the way. So they said that's where they're saying, like, you know, bought a bit of a white elephant there.
What do you reckon, Rick?
I feel like I haven't been educated. I feel like I've lost something. So at that time in my life I can never get back. I feel like I've sort of been soiled, and I don't know where to start. I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm angry.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
And all that rubbish around. Look at his little face.
Well-
What was that? All that shit about a second-hand elephant salesman and his mate knew about elephants. What is it? What are they? They had blue eyes. What are you?
Well,
Albinos have red eyes for a start.
oh, that's it, we've run out of time.
Oh, what? I mean, what are you going to do about this next week? Are you going to actually do some educating next week? And what about Rockbusters? Are you going to make the clues proper cryptic clues?
Well, that's the teaser, isn't it? That's what we'll leave them with.
Will it be any good next week? Tune in and find out on XFM 104.9. Blur and Out of Time. They're joking, there's 2 hours to go. On XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. A new leaf, bit of a blow at the Sonys. Not like that. I mean, you know, we were taken aback.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. And we've got guests. Jonathan Ross won, and he has guests, so we're going to have guests in. One of which is sort of a tie-in. He's going to explain himself. It's Dr. Fox, Dr. Neil Fox, popped in for a chat. It's a pre-record, we've got that. Although live in the second hour, we're going to have a chat to the girls from Tattoo, who are upstairs at the moment in Capital, and they're going to pop down and have a little chat with us. So we're really trying to, you know, make this more of an interactive show. We don't know yet whether we're going to give up or not. It depends how this show goes. Yeah, look forward to that. But we've got some great. We went down to the big library, so we don't have to rely on 4 Non-Blondes and the you know, the 2 jam tracks that are up here. We went down to the big library, and we've got some great tracks, Steve, haven't we?
That's
we've got some
absolutely true.
classics. Should we play one now?
Well, before that, I just remember that some of the criticism we received, I think, was that we're perhaps not taking into consideration the listeners. A lot of shows, a lot of radio shows, they cater very much to the community, to the area which they're broadcasting. They interact with the listenership.
Where's the fun in that?
Oh, I agree.
Well, for me, really.
I'd just like to justify why we don't tend to correspond or interact with the listeners. Here's a typical email from Vicky, age 25. She asks, do you ski? Rick, that's her question.
No, I
Do you
don't.
ski? Yes or no?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Right, there you are. Thanks, Mick. Brilliant. Keep those coming in.
See, he's turned him against us, Carl. What do you think, Carl? What do you think of Steve's attitude there?
It's alright.
No insight like that coming later.
Black Grape, Kelly's Heroes, and XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington, okay? Proper radio. As you know, we're a bit gutted that we won nothing at the Sony Awards. We found out that on the panel was Dr. Fox, probably one of the greatest DJs in the world.
One of the great living broadcasters.
I certainly think that he's up there.
Yeah.
With Tarrant, John O'Coleman. And so...
And Chris Knowles.
Great Chris Knowles. We asked him to... He's also on the Pop Idol panel, so he can make and break people. So we asked him, basically, to explain himself. Why did we win nothing? Why were we so bad? This is what he had to say.
The award, guys, was called the Entertainment Award. Right, now, in itself, I think that should probably tell you something about what should be on the tape. There should be some entertainment. And it just wasn't very entertaining, actually. I don't mean that sounds quite horrible sitting here in front of you now, but it just wasn't very entertaining.
But fundamentally, what elements did you not find entertaining?
The fact that it didn't seem entertaining me at all was part of it. I mean, it's a bit of like how long's a piece of string, isn't it? What is entertaining?
We have talked about string on the show before, though.
Then there were loads of people I'd never heard of in my life, and some of those were perhaps a bit more entertaining than you. The people that got silver, I think they were called Joe and Twiggy. They worked for a station in the Midlands, I think Trent FM. They were actually pretty funny.
Funnier than ours stuff.
Yeah, they were actually. Yeah, they were funny, and they seem to sort of understand their local. They seem to understand their market a bit more. And then I got onto yours. I think, oh, great, Ricky Gervais. Yeah, he's really funny in that program, isn't he? I must watch that. I'm going to absolutely die laughing here. And oh God, it was painful.
How would you have improved it, just listening?
Bit of humour, be
Right.
quite good. Bit of humour, essential, I would
Some
think,
jokes.
to an entertainment show. A bit of prep, you know, a bit
Right.
so get in there and actually think about what it's going to do, perhaps.
Well, right, okay.
Well, thank you, Dr. Fox, for your honesty. We've got to the bottom. While you're here, can I just show you this? That lump. Do you still do prescriptions?
Dr.
Well.
Fox there.
He was, you know,
He was honest, he was blunt.
he was blunt. You know, that's.
I'd like a second opinion. I'm only joking, he's not actually a doctor. In fact, well, he used to be called Dr. Fox, and now he just calls himself Neil Fox. I think he's been struck off.
No, he's Neil Fox, MD.
Right.
He's just.
I wondered if there was some malpractice, that something happened.
I mean, we
Someone
can't.
was under, and he sort of, you know, went a little bit crazy.
Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Because Froggy will not take that lightly.
Who?
Froggy.
What do you mean, Froggy?
He's Dr. Frog now. He's changed it. He's not Fox.
Right,
he
right.
hated Fox.
But are we going to heed his criticism? Because it was about, there was no preparation,
Yeah.
we weren't funny, fair enough.
Yeah.
There was just really no content.
We
in the
didn't
show.
care about
We didn't
our-
care about the show.
The demographic we were meant to be aiming at.
Just seems like a lot of work, all that.
Well, I think what we can do is we can take it all on board and immediately forget it and carry on because it's easier. What about that?
Brilliant.
I'll tell you what we could do though. Play some bloody great tunes.
Thanks very much.
Athlete, you got the style on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington, innit? Alright?
Brilliant.
Well, you know, the funny thing was, the day of the Sonys, the radar figures came out. That's the body that tells exactly how many listeners you've got, etc. And XFM went down a little bit across the board, except one show, Steve, that went up 34%.
Keep talking.
Well, what show do you think that was?
I'm trying to think, would it be Zoe Ball? No. Would it be Christian Connell Breakfast Show?
No, it was this little mother of a show.
Really? Up
Yeah,
34%?
everything else went down. We went up 34%.
Yeah.
So maybe Dr. Fox should be listening to those figures.
Indeed.
Yeah, will we get a pay rise? Will we get a 34% pay rise, Carl?
Ooh, up to 80 quid a month.
No, because for the last, 2 years, there's been nothing there, and you've still been getting the same money, haven't you? That's the way it works.
There's been what there?
You're not paid per listener, are you? It's just... You know what I mean?
It seems like it.
I think they've each given us 5 pence.
Exactly.
I went along to, I came in from the presenters meetings I've never been to one before, a presenters meeting, I didn't know they existed, and I just came in to annoy Carl. It was about 5 to 6, so I was going to get him as he knocked off. We're going to have a
Sorry, and the presenters meeting is what? That's where they dish out which amusing news stories they're going to read out, is it?
Yeah, or no, what order they're going to play, Athlete, Coldplay,
Right.
the Vines. And, I went upstairs, all the people there, and, quite interesting, wasn't it? Carl,
Yeah.
you know why the figures went down a little bit?
Come on.
The war.
Is that what they said?
The war, yeah. At one point, I said to Carl, just how many listeners died in this war? Because I thought he was saying that they were at the front.
Yeah.
Or XLM listeners went, well, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to Iraq.
Well, the reason our listenership
Tell
went-
Zoe to tape it for me.
the reason our listenership went up is that just tells you who's listening to us. Cowards, yellow bellies, children, women,
People with fallen arches.
terrorists.
Oh dear. Yeah, I didn't, it was quite a good meeting. Now I saw some...
So what exactly, is there anything I missed out on? Is it
No,
important
they
information?
just, it went down a little bit, except our show, which went up 34%.
Up 34%, but
Yeah,
no awards
remember
for that.
And then you went out afterwards, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to a bar to have a couple of drinks and that.
Yeah.
And then a few of them went onto Stringfellas.
No, they didn't.
No, some of them did. Zoe
Who?
did. Zoe and a few of the office people and that. I went home.
Stringfellas.
Yeah,
To what? To watch lap dancing? To beat what?
yeah, that's what goes on there, isn't it? I know, it's mad, isn't it?
I've never been to Stringfellows, I don't know what happens there.
But no. Why would they?
I don't know. I mean, I was talking to people about it the day after, and they said, "Oh, you missed out." I said, "Well, did I?" I said, "How does it work?" They said, "Well, you pay."
Never quite understood lap dancing. Never quite understood it. What's it? It's basically someone dancing naked, rubbing their arse in your face.
Yeah.
That's basically the gist of it, is it?
But you can't. The rules is you can't touch.
Do they do a home service?
I just think it's nearly. I've got to be careful what I say here, but it's sort of, I'm not dissing Stringfellows or anything, but is that not sort of like one step down from prostitution?
That's such an antiquated. What,
No,
you
do you know
from
what I
the 19th century?
No, but I mean, what? It's like it's. Well, I don't quite understand it. Have you?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Because the thing is, I said, how does it work? They said, you pay 20 quid, you get some clean money, sort of like little vouchers that you stick in the knickers or whatever.
Oh God!
Clean money?
Yeah,
Disinfected money, okay.
well, just like vouchers.
Can you put loose change in there? Because I got a lot of that.
But,
I owe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
20 quid it is.
Right.
And I just don't get it, because I mean, I'm not tight with money or anything, but
No.
you pay your 20 quid, they dance in front of you, but you're not allowed to touch, which to me is like going to a restaurant, ordering a nice big warm dinner, and they put it in front of you, and it's like, well, you can't eat it, and you're saying, but it's going cold.
I love the idea of some bloke sitting in Stringfellows, businessman, right? He's paid £20. There's an arse waving in his face, and he's going, "Can I not just?" They go, "Don't." So he goes, "It's going cold! Look at it! It's going cold!" Oh, that is brilliant. It's going cold. That is, I mean, see, Carl in the week was saying that he doesn't like sayings and phrases and metaphor and analogy, and I was going, and he thinks it's sort of like, one step away from poetry. But he comes out with the most evocative phrases. That is a straightforward analogy. Lap dancing is like being given a meal that you can't eat. See, that's great. That's how you saw it, and that's so much better than saying it's mad, you can't touch, or it's a waste, or you see what I mean? We were trying to inflame his enthusiasm in the week, and I said about different phrases, and he goes, well, why not just say the actual words? I was going, well, it's more poetic, and I told him the Isaac Newton one. If I have seen further than any other man, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. And I said, well, that's because, he's saying, I'm getting lauded for being this great scientist and all these discoveries and being a genius, but I'm saying, if it wasn't for those scholars before me that had come up with what they come up with, I wouldn't have got this far. Carl went, what did you say?
I just said, well, I prefer him to give me a name check. Do you know what I mean, though? If you stood there and he's saying how good everything is, don't just class me, don't sort of put me in with a load of other people. Give me a mention.
If you were one of the other scholars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were probably people that died sort of years before him. I think he's saying more that he's thanking the body of work these scientists and these great men had handed down, you know, through either books, material, teachings.
He's not giving a big shout out to the collective science posse.
Yeah, yeah. You know, thank you. Actually, I copied Nigel's. He's not saying that. I was like earwigging. I heard what Nigel said about it, about the third law. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I look into science and stuff
Go
a lot
on.
more and see if they work. Well, one that happened a couple of weeks ago, right? You were talking about the you can't have your cake and eat it. Is that what you said?
Well, I never understood that, because I thought, well, what's the point of having your cake and not eating it, rather like your lap dancing analogy? But it actually means you can't have eaten your cake and still have it there,
Yes,
obviously.
exactly.
Well, the time that I saw that saying work, right? I was in Asda with Suzanne,
Yeah,
and you know those big binders you get with nice cakes in them
yeah.
for birthdays and that. You can get one with like David Beckham on the front of it.
Yeah.
You can have one with, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine if you want.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have one of them. And I saw one of those comedy ones where it is like a big pair of breasts,
Yeah.
and that is when, you know, you can have your cake and eat tit.
Play record.
No, but you see what I'm saying?
Play record. Play record. I want to talk to you about it. About puns.
Just
Placebo. This picture with the androgynous vocal talents at the helm there of Brian Moloko on XFM 104.9. I'm Rick Gervais.
Informed
Yeah.
broadcasting.
Excellent.
Did you see, I'm sure, I don't know if Carl saw it, I know you watched it, Rick, it was extraordinary, it was a Sky One TV show the other night. It was something like, reality TV,
Oh,
I can't remember what it was called, yeah.
Excellent.
And it was about basically what, the
I
fortunes of various...
cannot get enough of it.
The fortunes of various reality TV stars since they've come out of the show. Christine Hamilton coming out of the jungle. And obviously, once again, always a pleasure to find out what Fats Waller is up to, Rick Waller. I mean,
Oh, he's in
extraordinary.
a band now.
He's got his own band. He was playing in some club in Rochester. There was about
It's
20
sort of
people in
gospel,
the
sort of
audience.
gospel rock, that sort of soul gospel rock thing, like something you see in the Commitments or something. And when it cut
leather-
to the audience, it was like it was in Butlins. It was just a big dance floor, and there was just people like watching differently. And you went, the people that were here loved it. I mean, it's a bit
And that's
sad.
sad to say.
I know.
The size of the man, his leather jacket, Carl, was extraordinary. I don't know how many animals had to die to make it. It was like, you know, it was
It looked like,
unbelievable.
if he'd have fallen off, it'd been like the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Because
It was like a Zeppelin.
oh,
It
the
was-
humanity.
It was
people.
extraordinary. I still think, when I see him wearing a coat like that, it looks like he is stood on the shoulders of two other people. And it's
Yeah.
just a joke.
Just a
It's
little
just like a
head.
circus act or something.
Yeah.
Because his head doesn't make sense.
Looks like it's one of those things that you steam yourself in. You know, you put your head like that, and is that a machine you're in? No, it's a
Or one
coat.
of those old-fashioned iron lungs.
Oh dear.
But
There were some
he's-
magic moments.
But there was a great, because once again, I mean, I missed a lot of the first series of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, but it showed once again the moment with Darren Day. Darren Day, a lovely guy, but that moment where he went off and sat on a rock and came back, and he'd written a song.
I know.
Which he just, and I can't, it was also things like, I'm in a hotel room in another
I
town.
know. Don't.
And
do
it was like something you'd write when you were 14. It was unbelievable. They showed it again. It's just stunning.
I love songs you write when you're 14. It's like your first sort of like song where you know 3 chords, and it's always stuff like, there's a man, he's a lonely man, take a look at him, he looks a bit like me.
Yeah.
It is me. It's that sort of thing, like when you want to play it with someone and you want them to go, my God, you're deep.
Yeah.
My God, you're brilliant, aren't you? And that's about you, is it? Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
I have to say, this is such a terrible confession. When I was doing a school play once, when I was about that age, 15, right, there was a girl who was in the cast with me, right, and she sort of, you know, she was giving me the eye. I was thinking, yeah, well, I kind of thought she was, right, and
It was glass.
but there was another guy there as well. I was sort of competing for her affections.
Oh, no.
And he was quite a witty guy.
His name was Scott Hansen, he had long blonde hair.
Exactly, yeah. And I thought, well, the way to impress her, because I was 15 or whatever, I thought I was pretty smart. I sat in one of the adjoining dressing rooms, reading a copy of the philosophical book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which I didn't understand, but which I sat there reading it in the hope that she would walk in and think, my God, you're reading Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
You don't go with the crowd. You don't want to come next door where we're talking about nonsense and people are flirting.
We're talking about the Bangles and
yeah.
Curly Whirlies.
You're in here saying, look, just, if you want to come and talk to me, you're welcome, but I'm not...
I'm a thinker.
I bet you thought you were Kwai Chang Kane, didn't you?
I thought it was like she'd think, Jesus Christ, I've never met anyone like him.
That is genius.
And I remember the one time she accidentally walked in, she went, oh, sorry, wrong room, and left again. And that was it.
Sorry, at 15, so this is about the time you took to wearing a bow tie to
I was
impress
slightly
people.
younger wearing a bow tie.
I love that.
No, I used to watch a lot of Harold Lloyd films, and he always seemed to do very well.
I love it. I love the idea of at 15 you going, well, it's time I went to wooing. Right, right, on with the bow tie. Where's the Zen?
Where's the pipe and my bow tie?
It's a time I got me a bow.
Yeah.
I love that. But songs are great as well. And the other thing you do, sort of when you're about 15, 16, is start writing songs about the world's trying to take a piece of me. Hey, you think I'm going down? I'm coming back. I'm against the ropes. They try to drag me down. It's like you want to be Cool Hand Luke. Yeah. They put me in this emotional prison.
The man's on my back.
Who? They try and take a piece of me. Who do? Well, I
You're
don't know.
14.
Parents and that, don't they?
You're really
Sometimes.
comprehensive.
The teachers. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I still remember a poem. I'll not say his name. We're about 14, 15. And we had to write a poem, and obviously everyone's was pretty rubbish, but we mercilessly took the piss out of this bloke, because I still remember the poem, and how he did it is he went through a dictionary and found things with that, and this is a poem, right, okay, remember? I've remembered this for 25 years, right? The reason why I had to die, did I bleed the blood of greed, what was my destiny? And when we hear this, we were laughing. I mean, for a year, we would go, what was my destiny? It was just great.
I hear it again, I enjoyed
The reason why I had to die, did I bleed the blood of greed, what was my destiny?
That's almost as catchy as Monkey News.
Oh, God! Oh, I've got some monkey news for you. Let's play a record and come back, and I've got some great monkey news for you, Carl.
That's from the REM album that people tend to forget about now because it was so kind of poppy and such a massive hit out of time, but there are some good tunes on it. And there's one of them, Near Wild Heaven.
Excellent, on XFM 104.9. Carl.
Go on.
Watching a programme yesterday, and it was about these Japanese snow monkeys. And it was all about how animals learn things that aren't instinctive, particularly sort of primates, because they see other people doing it, and they start a culture. And they can pinpoint when these monkeys, when one monkey first went down and got in the hot water springs and stayed there because it was hot, and the others copied them, and now it's part of almost a culture, you know, that won't be handed on because it's not instinctive, but has to be learnt each time. And you know, and they groom as normal like other monkeys, right? But they're really intelligent, and obviously the reason they groom other people, other monkeys, is because they eat the mites. But also, the monkeys have learnt they like being groomed, okay? So they showed this one monkey, it went to a deer, okay, and it was grooming this deer to get its mite off it, right? But then it didn't eat it, it held it in its hand, it went over to a monkey, put the mite on itself to show the monkey it had a mite, and got a free grooming.
That's extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
That is
because it gave up the food, knowing that if you put one there, this monkey would look for mites on it, and it would get a free grooming, and it was like having a little massage. What do you think of that?
It's not bad. I've got some better stuff coming up later.
On Monkey News, on the official.
Yeah,
Monkey
do you
News.
see that? See what mine though? Mine's true.
I mean, that's an interesting and
It
extraordinary.
actually happened. It's
discovery.
social behaviour amongst primates. So I saw it. It was, you know.
Did it rob a bank, Rick, at any time?
It didn't rob a bank, and it didn't open a hairdresser's.
So that's what you're letting. That's where you're letting yourself down.
It's not quite good enough, is it? My monkey news.
No, I've got some.
See the difference where I named the species, explained it slightly, told you an interesting fact, as opposed to there's this monkey, right? And
Look at him looking
it's
at you.
Yeah,
He's not interested, Rick. Can I tell you now? Can I try and describe for people the face that Carl has? I'll tell you what it's like. It's like if you draw some eyes, a nose, and a mouth on a balloon, and then inflate it to about half full. That's what Carl's face looks like. That's what his head looks like. It looks like a face you've drawn on a balloon. Very small, the rest of the head huge.
It's just that today I'm a bit tired, right? That's one thing.
Why are you a bit tired?
I just haven't been sleeping, right?
Why not?
I don't know. I've got a lot going on in my head.
Oh, this would be like The Simpsons. If we could actually look in there, there would be two monkeys grooming you.
Plus, you've been talking about like stuff that I can't relate to and that. So I'm
Writing poetry,
Like what?
reading books.
you know, doing poetry and stuff. I never did any of that.
What did you do?
Well, at school they didn't bother. They tried to get us to write more, right?
Right.
By
Give you a pen?
well, they used to give us these school diaries,
Yeah.
little red book, and it was a way that they kept an eye on what you were doing out of school hours.
Right.
So some kids would write down, you know,
Stole a bike.
yeah,
Burn the
what have
house down.
Yeah.
But when I was at school, around that sort of 12 age, I didn't get up to much. You have no money, there's nothing you can do. So every night it was the same thing. I'd get home, and I'd have to go to the shop, right, and get some potatoes and some bread every night, right. And I kept taking this into school.
Sorry, what was it? Dublin in the 17th century?
Yeah.
What do you mean every day you went to the shops and got potatoes and bread?
That's kind of what I had to get all the time. That's what we had.
Why? What did you have? Chip sandwiches?
Yeah.
Right,
And,
so you went to the you went there
So I kept
with your hoop
putting
and
that.
stick.
yeah.
I kept putting that in the diary, you know, every night saying went to U Phase. That was the name of the shop.
What is it called?
U Phase,
What is it, you or you?
like HUGH Phase.
H-U-G-H, yeah. Oh, that was his name?
U Phase, right?
Right.
Used to go there, get the potatoes and
Bread.
and that.
I
What-
like the fact someone who's named a shop after themselves. I'm not going to say what we sell. It's named after me or nothing, or I'm not opening.
Mainly potatoes and bread. White sliced loaves, King Edward's.
And the teacher used to always say, just write something different in there, make something up. Because, like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, all the way through to Friday, every night, it was just, went to U Phase.
So you sort of you
Are you sure it wasn't an advert? Sure it wasn't paying you to say, get my name in the book?
yeah.
The only time that it changed, and she said, oh, that's made it a bit more interesting, was when it was my birthday, and I had to buy a cake.
Potatoes and a cake.
And she said, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That was my 13th birthday. My mum said, I got home from school, she said, oh, you're 13 today. Teenager, big turnover. Go and get a cake.
That's your experience of writing.
No, what?
Well,
no,
kind
that's
of,
your
yeah.
experience of your 13th birthday. Oh, by the way, you're 13 today, go and get a cake.
Yeah.
Brilliant, big surprise? Was it a big surprise? yeah, that is brilliant. I love it.
That's the only sort of writing.
What,
Yeah.
and they never asked you to write essays or stories?
Did you
anything?
never write a story or a poem or a...
The stories I did earlier on were, you know, you made them up, but it was that thing that I'd always end them with, and an alarm went off and it was all a dream.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. But they didn't, I mean, it was a bit of a...
I bought some potatoes and some bread, then I woke up and it was all a dream.
Then I went to shops and bought some potatoes and
Yeah.
bread. But did you ever do anything that write about an adventure when you were a spaceman, or you were in, you know, you were a cowboy, or no?
All the teachers, like, had scams going on, so, like, in English, right, you'd go in there, and the teacher would say, right, what we're doing today is, got a load of brochures from Thompson, but they say, like, 1983 on the front, so I've got a load of stickers here that say 1984, let's see how many you can do in half an hour.
You are joking.
Did you go to school with Oliver Twist?
Sorry, you are joking.
I'm not, that's what they did. So the teacher must have been getting, like, a freebie or something for helping them out.
Is this...
Honestly, yeah, that's what it was.
That is fantastic.
They were all at it, all
Other than Mr. Fagan, you had...
Yeah, and then when they saw Karate Kid, they had every kid washing their car, going wax on, wax off, hurry up.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you something. Wax on, wax off, paint the fence.
So I'm just saying, you know, that's why I'm a bit quiet, because you're talking about stuff I can't
relate to.
And why didn't you sleep last night?
I'm just... I haven't slept well since I was about 12. Do you sleep well, Steve?
Oh, wait, you can't let that go! I haven't slept well since I was 12. What do you mean?
Do you know, like, a proper I used to love going to bed as like a kid.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, oh, am I going to sleep tonight? And I sort of wake up about 4 times.
Right.
Whereas when you're a kid, I remember really loving, like, going to bed. There was one time where I actually laughed myself to sleep because I couldn't believe me luck.
What's wrong with him? What do you mean you laugh
Have you ever had it when you're really tired and you get in bed and the pillows feel
Yeah, it's all cold. Yeah.
and it's like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
And it happened twice. Once when I just went to bed and I was really looking forward to it, and also when I helped my dad out once, like through the night. He worked at at this paper company, right? And I helped him out, and I got in at about 4 in the morning with him. Got in bed, and I just was like, I was laughing my head off. I had to put the pillow over my head because I couldn't believe me luck. Like I was like, oh, this is great. This. I'm going to sleep.
I just have to say, life up north is so extraordinary.
No, but you must be the easiest kid in the world to please. No wonder she knew she could just go get a cake. It's sort of like, what was he expecting her to say? He were expecting an extra hour in bed, but we got him cake as well.
Go
I
to bed
love
without
that.
any supper. Brilliant.
Brilliant, yeah. Your own bed. How long was it before you got your own? What did you used to do before? Just some straw in the corner?
No, it's just that thing of when you're really tired and...
And do you ever do this with Suzanne, though? Do you ever laugh yourself to sleep with her?
No, that's what I mean.
She can't sleep because you're chuckling away.
I don't know what's up with me. I've got a lot going on.
What do you mean you've got a lot going on?
I don't know. I was talking to the security bloke before saying, do you sleep? Have you got much going on in your head and stuff? And I don't know.
No, but he wasn't insulted by that, I'm sure. Going up to someone and going, have you got a lot going on in your head? That is brilliant.
It worries me. It's interesting that your lack of sleep coincides with the diaries and the writing of the bread and potato story every day. I don't know if once you had that responsibility.
Why don't you every night go to Hugh Faye's, get some bread and potatoes, you don't have to eat them, then go to bed, and I think you'll be chuckling yourself to sleep in no time. I'm stunned at Carl's rudeness, okay? That's badly drawn boy, by the way, all possibilities. There's a lovely chap just calls in, saying about... and Carl, because the record's ending, he doesn't say, oh, I've got to go to the record's end. He went, yeah. And he... so...
He's probably still there.
Well,
I didn't cut him off.
Well, just check if he's still there.
He doesn't want to be on radio. He said he didn't want to be on the radio, but I think he should apologise.
I'm still here, hello?
Hello.
All right.
I'm still here. I did ask not to be put live on radio because I get very embarrassed.
Don't worry. All we wanted to do is just wanted to apologise for Carl's curtness and his rudeness.
Now, all I want to say is the station is good because you couldn't have a worse slot on a Saturday afternoon, right? Because the youngsters are in the boozers, the older fellas are doing the punting, the racing, the football and whatever. The thing is, the state you play, if you want to get number one...
This is XFM, not Radio 2.
If you want to be the top, all you got to do is start playing Natalia Umbraglia, this and that, and have your audience with one puke of hair between 4 legs, okay?
Thank you.
There you go.
Now, that's why I didn't want to go live on radio. But you are dead, when Christian got a little bit sick about being 13, then he got to go, whatever. You're the soundest station in the area, you cover... I don't like all the stuff you play, the station plays, but you're actually doing what's there.
Thank you very much.
You keep going, persevere, and you'll it's well worth listening to anyway, okay?
Thank you, cheers.
Otherwise I wouldn't...
Can you hear us?
Thank you, bye.
Dead sound, mate, be careful, yeah?
I mean, I can see why you cut him off.
No, stop it.
Man
Right.
alive.
We've had so many calls. Carl was getting annoyed. There were so many calls. And we've had suggestions from Ned saying talk about Jimmy Savile. John in North London. I've just got John in North London. What does he want to talk about? Oh, I've forgotten. Becca from Liverpool wants to talk about Tracy Emin and Damien Hirst. Art. Paul Andrews. Your mum called. Stop calling her. Tell her to listen to XFM. Yes, you, Paul Andrews, who's about 38, at home with your wife and kids. Your mum just called in. I think someone wanted amazing monkey facts. I can't even do this right, can I?
To be honest with you, last week we were slagging off Carl as being the weak link in this show. I think it's clear what the weak link is.
Oh, God, who's the bloke who wants Hayley to go with him to X-Men? See, I shouldn't make notes.
What's wrong with you? If you didn't spend so much time squeezing his head and eating pies, we might get something done.
Right, okay, then what should we talk about then?
Right, play a record and we'll discuss it.
Tracy Emin. Make your
Okay.
bed. Make your bed. Damien Hirst, stop cutting up sharks and things. Picasso, right?
Right, Rockbusters, what have you got for us, Carl?
Right. There we go then. 3 clues,
Dig
3
us out of it.
cryptic clues, couple of initials. Email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Win some stuff. Do you want to go through the
prizes.
stuff?
Yeah,
You get them.
You're
I'll
definitely
read-
improving yourself as weeks go on. We've got a 3 CD set of the best of Inspiral Carpets. How they've strung that over 3 CDs, I've no idea.
Yeah, I know.
Extraordinary. A number of other CDs, all of which